January 1st. In 404, the last known gladiator competition took place in Rome, after St. Telemachus was stoned to death by the crowd while attempting to stop the fight. The Christian Roman Emperor Honorius banned gladiatorial combat. 1808, the importation of slaves was prohibited in the United States. 1739, Bouvet Island, the world's most remote island, is discovered by French explorer Jean-Baptiste Charles Bouvet de Lozier. 1912, the Republic of China is established with the end of the Qing dynasty, marking the conclusion of 2,000 years of imperial rule following the Xinhai Revolution. 2024, Disney's copyright protection on Steamboat Willie and the original Mickey Mouse character expires as they enter the public domain. January 2nd, 1492. After the signing of the capitulations of Granada, the Nasrid Kingdom surrenders to the Catholic monarchs, putting an end to the Reconquest. 1788. Georgia becomes the fourth state to ratify the United States Constitution. 1959. Luna 1, the first spacecraft to reach the vicinity of the Moon and to orbit the Sun, is launched by the Soviet Union. 1960. In the village of Oodnadatta in the Simpson Desert, Australia, the highest temperature in the history of that country and of all of Oceania is recorded, 50.7 degrees Celsius, 123.3 degrees Fahrenheit. 2024, two aircraft collide on a runway at Haneda Airport in Tokyo, killing 5 and injuring 15. January 3rd, 1896. In Italy, Leonardo da Vinci tests his flying machine for the first time. 1870. Construction work begins on the Brooklyn Bridge in New York, United States. 1892. John Ronald Reuel Tolkien, J.R.R. Tolkien, was born. He was the author of the high fantasy works The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. 1987. Aretha Franklin becomes the first woman to be inducted into the Rock Hall of Fame. 2021. Chapter 1,000 of the One Piece manga was released. It is one of the longest-running and most popular manga series of all time. January 4th, 1843. Sir Isaac Newton, an English polymath who worked as a mathematician, physicist, astronomer, alchemist, theologian, and author, was born. 1809, French educator Louis Braille, who developed the system of writing and printing used by the blind, which is named after him, was born near Paris. 1896, Utah was admitted as the 45th U.S. state. 2007, the 110th United States Congress convened and elected Nancy Pelosi as the first female Speaker of the House. 2010, the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building, officially opened in Dubai. January 5th, 1531. Pope Clement VII wrote to Henry VIII, forbidding him from marrying Anne Boleyn. 1875. The Palais Garnier, one of the most famous opera houses in the world, was inaugurated in Paris. 1933. Construction of the Golden Gate Bridge began in San Francisco Bay. 1941. Amy Johnson, a 37-year-old pilot and the first woman to fly solo from London to Australia, disappeared after bailing out of her plane over the River Thames and was presumed dead. 2025. New York City will enact a $9 congestion charge for driving in Manhattan. January 6th, 1540. Henry VIII of England married his fourth wife, Anne of Cleves. 1838. Alfred Vail and his colleagues demonstrated a telegraph system using dots and dashes, which is considered a precursor to Morse code. 1907. Maria Montessori opens her first school and daycare center for working-class children in Rome, Italy. 1941. United States President Franklin D. Roosevelt delivers his Four Freedoms speech in the State of the Union Address, 2021. Supporters of U.S. President Donald Trump attacked the United States Capitol to disrupt the certification of the 2020 presidential election. January 7th, 1610. Galileo Galilei made his first observation of the 4 Galilean moons, Ganymede, Callisto, Io, and Europa, although he was not able to distinguish the last two until the following night. 1782. The first American commercial bank, the Bank of North America, opened. 1927. The first transatlantic commercial telephone service was established from New York City to London. 1954. The first public demonstration of a Russian-English machine translation system took place in New York, a collaboration between IBM and Georgetown University. 2022. The first successful transplant of a genetically modified pig's heart into a human took place in Baltimore, Maryland. January 8th, 1790. George Washington delivers the first State of the Union address in New York City. 1959. In Cuba, Fidel Castro entered Havana with his troops, consolidating the victory of the Cuban Revolution. 2003. Turkish Airlines Flight 634 crashes near Diyarbakir Airport, Turkey, killing the entire crew and 70 of the 75 passengers. 2016. Joaquin Guzman, widely regarded as the world's most powerful drug trafficker, is recaptured in Mexico following his escape from a maximum security prison. 2023. Supporters of former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro storm the Brazilian Congress. January 9, 1788, Connecticut becomes the fifth state to ratify the United States Constitution. The year 1792. The Treaty of Jassy between the Russian and Ottoman empires is signed, ending the Russo-Turkish War of 1787 to 1792. 1822, Dia do Fico, or Day of the Stay, marks the moment when Prince Pedro I of Brazil decided to stay in Brazil, thus initiating the process of Brazilian independence. 1999. In the United States, PageRank, a family of algorithms fundamental to Google's search engine, is patented. 2007, Apple CEO Steve Jobs introduces the original iPhone at a Macworld keynote in San Francisco. January 10th, 49 AC, Julius Caesar crosses the Rubicon River, marking the beginning of the Second Civil War of the Roman Republic. 1503. In Seville, the House of Trade of the Indies is established to manage goods imported to and exported from America. 1917. The Silent Sentinels, a group of over 2,000 women organized by Alice Paul and the National Woman's Party, held their first protest outside the White House in support of women's suffrage. 1957, Gabriela Mistral died. She was a Chilean poet and the Nobel Prize winner in literature in 1945. 1999, The Sopranos, featuring James Gandolfini as mob boss Tony Soprano, premieres on HBO.
January 11th, 1908. The Grand Canyon National Monument is created. 1922. Leonard Thompson becomes the first person to be injected with insulin. 1935. Amelia Earhart becomes the first person to fly solo from Hawaii to California. 1964, Surgeon General of the United States Dr. Luther Terry, MD, publishes the landmark report Smoking and Health, report of the Advisory Committee to the Surgeon General of the Public Health Service, which concluded that smoking is a cause of lung cancer and other health issues, sparking national and worldwide anti-smoking efforts. 2007, J.K. Rowling finishes writing the seventh and final Harry Potter novel, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. January 12th, 1755. In Moscow, Russian Empire, Empress Elizabeth of Russia approves the creation of the first Russian university, the University of Moscow. 1932, Hattie Caraway becomes the first woman elected to the U.S. Senate. 1999, Britney Spears releases her first album, Baby One More Time. 2009, Cristiano Ronaldo is awarded 2008 FIFA World Player of the Year for the first time at a ceremony in Zurich. 2010, earthquake devastates Haiti, killing approximately 160,000 and destroying the majority of the capital Port-au-Prince. January 13, 1908. Henri Farman becomes the first person in Europe to fly a circular circuit of 1 kilometer over a predetermined course. 1968. Johnny Cash performed live at Folsom State Prison. 1969. The Beatles released their album Yellow Submarine. 2021. U.S. President Donald Trump is impeached for a second time on a charge of incitement of insurrection following the January 6th United States Capitol attack. 2021. The world's oldest known cave painting depicting an animal, a pig, discovered in Laing Tedongenge Cave on the Indonesian island of Sulawesi, dates back 45,000 years. January 14th. 1900. Premiere of Puccini's Tosca, the first performance of Giacomo Puccini's iconic opera in Rome, captivated audiences with its dramatic story of love, betrayal, and political intrigue. 1943. World War II. Franklin D. Roosevelt and Winston Churchill begin the Casablanca Conference to discuss strategy and study the next phase of the war. 1952. NBC's long-running morning news program Today debuts, with host Dave Garroway. 2016. Alan Rickman, the acclaimed English actor known for his roles in films like Die Hard and the Harry Potter series, passed away at the age of 69. 2024. Queen Margrethe II abdicates as Queen of Denmark and is succeeded by her son Frederick. 1559. Elizabeth I is crowned Queen of England. This marks the beginning of the Elizabethan era, a golden age in English history. 1892. James Naismith, a Canadian physical education instructor, publishes the original rules of basketball in the Springfield College School magazine, The Triangle. 1929. Martin Luther King Jr., an American minister, activist, and Nobel Prize laureate, is born. 1967. The first Super Bowl is played in Los Angeles. The Green Bay Packers defeat the Kansas City Chiefs 35-10. 2001. Wikipedia, the free online encyclopedia, goes online.